Hey everyone, Tracy Taylor here from Taylor Made Transformations. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about forgiveness, and not so much about forgiving other people, but I think about forgiving yourself. And I think that's probably the hardest person for us all to forgive. We find difficulty giving some people forgiveness, but I think for ourselves, it's really, really hard. We get stuck in this rut of blaming ourselves for the outcome of things because we didn't do or act or say this or that. And we can end up with quite a bit of guilt, a lot of resentment, towards ourselves, a lot of bitterness, and holding on to a lot of those emotions is really, really detrimental for your health and your psyche. But resentment and guilt are felt deeply in the liver, and it can really, really cause a lot of health issues as far as cleansing yourself as well. And so it's very important to deal with those emotions and really begin to forgive yourself. And it is at times a very long and tedious process that you really, really have to work on. I know, even for myself, knowing these things and putting them into place sometimes are just two different things. You know, I, like everybody else, sometimes wake up and I have a really bad day and I just can't get out of that funk. And sometimes you'll have that. And if you have that here and there, you need to really honor that and just kind of give yourself that time. As long as it's not something that's happening weekly or, you know, so regularly. But if you wake up and you just have a bad day and you're in a funk about something, I mean, really, definitely, please honor yourself for that and just take the time out. But even for myself and for people that have come to terms with learning to forgive themselves and knowing that they need to forgive themselves, it's honestly a daily practice because we get into this process of we tell things, our mind, or we tell ourselves things and our mind hears it. Even if we don't say it out loud, we all have this constant running tape in our heads, like, oh, you're silly, you're this, you're that. You know, if we do something wrong, if something happens, we all do that to ourselves. And so even though you know that you need to forgive yourself and look past mistakes, it's very, very hard to do at times, and on a daily, and you have to practice it on a daily basis. Going back to a lot of my previous videos, like the video on dysfunction, and me feeling horrible for my kids and the way I raised them, you know, that's a constant battle as well for myself, the guilt that I feel about that. And I've had to deal with forgiving myself. But we have to understand and we have to treat ourselves with the same level of empathy and compassion that we would another human being, because that's what we are. And we deserve that from ourselves too. And if you are making steps to change yourself and change your life for the better, and you have one bad day or you slip into behaviors, don't beat yourself up for it. I mean, the fact that you're recognizing it in and of itself is huge. And it's the first step of recovery. But like, you have to come to terms with that you did the best that you knew how to do at the time. And that if you would have known different, or if you would have known better, you would have done that. And now that you do know different and you do know better, you're trying to do that. I think we live in this society where in this culture that we want to take a pill, or we want to do a meditation and just automatically believe that our lives will be changed. And the truth of the matter is that those are steps to take at times. You know, meditation is wonderful, reading. There's many things you can do to make these changes, but there's steps in those directions. Nothing is going to provide a radical change for you for behaviors that you grew up with, or lifelong things that you're trying to get rid of, or forgiveness for yourself for whatever the reason is. It's going to take time, and it's going to take a daily practice, and it's going to take really a mindful set as far as really being dedicated to doing that, and saying to yourself that you forgive yourself. Even writing a letter to yourself and reading it daily helps tremendously. But when you get to a space where you come to terms that you did the best you could with what you knew at the time, and now you're doing better now that you know different, and that everything that has unfolded in your life, whether it's good or bad, happened for a reason. And you are right where you are supposed to be. Everything happens for a reason. There's times I think, and we're all guilty of it, that I think if I would have known better, if I would have done this or I would have done that, my life would be drastically different. Yes, it would be. But this is the life that I'm supposed to be living. And this is the life that you're supposed to be living. Forgive yourself. Make amends that you did the best that you could with what you knew at the time. And you will begin to feel much lighter. And that lightness will just provide energy and sparkle to many, many other things that you do in life. And it's a step towards healing. But just remember that you are a work in progress, and don't be hard on yourself. Hold yourself accountable, but also show yourself love and compassion and empathy, just like you would any other human being. That's all I have to say on that. But if you would take a moment to like or subscribe to my channel, share my videos, I would appreciate it. Have a good one, guys.